Cronus, one of the 12 Titans, became the second ruler of heaven after overthrowing his father Uranus. He succeeded only with the help of his brothers and sisters, yet once he ascended the throne, he fell prey to the same paranoia as his father, haunted by the fear that his siblings might usurp his power. Cronus knew that his strength alone could not match that of his mighty brothers, the one-eyed Cyclopes and the 100-handed giants. So, using a false pretext, he imprisoned them in the deepest, darkest abyss of the underworld, Tartarus. Still, even after his monstrous brothers were locked away, his suspicions grew ever stronger. More ruthless and distrustful than Uranus, he feared even the faintest whisper of rebellion. To silence all rumors, he cast most of the Titans into Tartarus as well, leaving only his youngest and most beautiful sister Rhea at his side. In time, Rhea became his wife. Having destroyed all potential threats, Cronus's reign seemed secure. But like his father, he possessed the gift of prophecy, and foresaw that one day he would be overthrown by one of his own sons. This vision robbed him of peace. He could neither eat nor sleep, endlessly tormented by the thought of his downfall. How could he ensure his eternal rule? At first, he considered imprisoning his children as Uranus had done, but he remembered too well how that had ended, and there was no safer prison than Tartarus itself. Yet his siblings already confined there might stir rebellion in his future sons. Cronus pondered endlessly, searching in vain for a perfect solution. One day during lunch, he accidentally burned his tongue on hot food and leapt up in pain. Suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. Is there any place safer than my own belly? If I swallow the child, no one could ever set him free. Pleased with his own cunning, Cronus resolved to act. When Rhea gave birth to their first child, she lovingly wrapped the newborn and handed it to Cronus. He took the bundle, then swallowed it whole. Rhea wept bitterly, but Cronus only laughed in triumph. So it went for every child she bore, 5 in all. Before Rhea could even look upon them, each was swallowed and lost within Cronus's stomach. Her heart, pierced with grief 5 times over, could bear no more. Powerless, yet determined, Rhea decided to save her next child. That child would be Zeus, the future ruler of the gods. When the time came, Rhea devised a plan. As she gave birth, she wrapped a stone, carefully prepared in advance, in swaddling clothes and handed it to Cronus. Without even looking, the tyrant swallowed it whole, laughing loudly as he left. Rhea's heart finally eased. Zeus was safe. But where could she hide him? She remembered a cave she had once discovered as a child while playing hide-and-seek on the island of Crete. There she placed the infant Zeus, entrusting his care to 2 divine nymphs. They adored the rosy-cheeked child and nursed him tenderly with milk from the sacred goat Amalthea and honey from the mountains. To conceal his cries, Rhea stationed armed warriors at the cave's entrance. Every time Zeus cried, they clashed their spears and shields to drown out the sound. Under divine care, Zeus grew into a strong and noble youth. When the time was right, Rhea revealed the truth of his birth and his father's cruelty. Filled with anger and sorrow, Zeus vowed to free his siblings and end Cronus's brutal reign. With Rhea's help, Zeus devised a clever plan. She served Cronus a potion disguised as medicine. The moment he drank it, terrible pain seized him, and he began to vomit violently, first the great stone, then 5 fully grown sons and daughters, all unharmed and now as powerful as Zeus himself. The siblings united under Zeus's banner, declaring war upon their father. The battle between the old gods and the new raged for 10 years, the heavens and earth trembling from their clash. Neither side could claim victory. Among Cronus's allies was his cunning cousin Prometheus, who saw the stalemate and offered advice. "Great Lord, release your brothers from Tartarus. If they aid you, Victory will be yours." But Cronus, suspicious as ever, feared betrayal and refused. Seeing his cruelty and pride, Prometheus abandoned him and joined Zeus instead. Prometheus counseled Zeus to free the Cyclopes and the 100-handed giants from the underworld. Grateful, the Cyclopes gifted Zeus mighty weapons, thunder, lightning, and the thunderbolt. To his brother Hades they gave a helmet of invisibility, and to Poseidon a trident that could shake the seas. The fierce 100-handed giants themselves joined Zeus's cause. Armed with these powers, Zeus led his forces against Cronus. The battle that followed was cataclysmic. Lightning flashed, storms raged, mountains split, and the seas boiled. Cronus hurled stones, but for everyone the giants threw 100 more, raining them down like a storm. At last, Cronus was defeated. Zeus chained him in unbreakable iron and cast him into the depths of Tartarus, the very prison he had once used against his own kin. At its gates stood a 3-headed hound, and the Cyclopes and giants patrolled its shadows. Even with wings, Cronus could never have escaped. Thus ended the reign of terror, and the age of Zeus began. Zeus, the 3rd generation of gods. Zeus, son of Cronus and Rhea, became the father of gods and men, ruler of Mount Olympus, and king of all creation. Most gods and heroes of later myth, his brothers, sisters, and countless children, trace their lineage to him. As the supreme deity, Zeus ruled the sky, wielding thunder and lightning as his weapons. He could summon storms, call forth rain, and strike down with divine wrath. He also inherited the prophetic power of his ancestors, foreseeing the future through dreams, omens, and the flight of birds. Zeus was majestic in form, tall, broad-shouldered, with curly hair and a flowing beard. He sat upon his golden throne, holding a scepter in one hand and a thunderbolt in the other, with an eagle perched at his feet, the very image of divine authority. Yet Zeus's rule was not merely one of force, it was also of order and justice. He maintained the balance of the natural world, the changing of the seasons, the rise and fall of kings, the laws that governed both gods and mortals. Before his palace stood 2 great jars, one filled with good, the other with evil. When a mortal was born, Zeus would draw from both jars and mix their gifts. Thus, most humans are a blend of virtue and vice. At times, when distracted or impatient, he might pour too much of one or the other. So some people were born pure of heart, others cruel by nature. But even Zeus was not omnipotent. He could not overrule the fates, nor resist the power of Eros, the god of love. Thus, despite his majesty, Zeus was often swayed by passion. He married 7 goddesses in all, Metis, the goddess of wisdom, whom he swallowed when warned their child would surpass him. From his head later sprang Athena, fully armed and radiant. Themis, goddess of justice, who bore the Horae, seasons, and Moirai, fates. Eurynome, the ocean goddess, who gave birth to the 3 Graces. Demeter, goddess of harvest, his sister, who bore Persephone, later queen of the underworld. Mnemosyne, goddess of memory, who bore the 9 muses. Leto, the night goddess, who gave birth to Apollo and Artemis. And finally Hera, his sister and queen, the goddess of marriage and virtue, with whom he fathered Ares, Hephaestus, and Hebe. The gods celebrated their union with a grand feast atop Mount Olympus, yet even marriage to noble Hera could not tame Zeus's desire. He continued to pursue mortal women and nymphs, fathering countless demigods and heroes, among them Heracles, born of the mortal woman Alcmene, and Helen of Troy, whose beauty would ignite a war. Hera's jealousy, fierce and unrelenting, brought tragedy to many of Zeus's lovers and children. She turned Callisto into a bear, sent serpents to kill baby Heracles, and later drove him mad, forcing him to atone through 12 heroic labors. Despite his flaws, Zeus was not without compassion. He often intervened to protect his mortal children from Hera's wrath, or sent other gods to aid them. Through their deeds, many became immortalized as heroes and champions of mankind. Legacy: Zeus's character embodied two great forces, justice and desire. He was the protector of order, the upholder of divine law, yet also a god bound by passion and fate. Under his reign, the cosmos found balance, and humanity its stories. Thus began the age of Olympus, the age of gods, of heroes, and of men.